Good morning, everybody. And thanks to be here. I am Cristina Felicioni from Alumni Association of the Padua University, and I want to welcome you to the third alumni talk that is organized within the activities of Arcus program. Arcus is an alliance among the European university and to enhance the dissemination of knowledge and share an effective cooperation among universities in Europe. Our alumni talks are that we organize with Padua University, Alumni Association and Padua University are focused on entrepreneurship on the labor market in general. So today we have with us Elisa Zoccarato. I thank her very, very much to be here with us. She will talk about her studies in Padua University and her professional career and their startup. So thank you, Elisa, to be here. She is the founder of Pharma Consulenze, but she will talk about it a lot in this webinar. So enjoy, everybody. Enjoy this webinar and thank to be here. Elisa?
Thank you, Cristina. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elisa Zoccarato, mom, pharmacist, and entrepreneur. It's an honor to have the possibility to share my path with the young students, approaching knowledge every day with self-commitment and determination. My goal today is to make you recognize and know yourself, understanding that if you really believe in your service, you will achieve all of your targets. So, which is the secret to achieving your goals? Being passionate. Passion is born with us. Since the first days of our life, we aspire to something, to achieve something, to become something. The secret is to find our aptitude which is innate inside of us. And if we are good explorers of ourselves, it will grow inside of us. For what concerns me, my aptitude for experimentation manifested when I was around 3 years old. At the kindergarten, I enjoyed collecting flowers and plants into the schoolyard to obtain maturation extracts thanks to makeshift mortars. Obviously, at the time, it was nothing more than a game to me. A child can't have the full awareness of what he wants to be. As a kid, someone wants to be an astronaut, but then he becomes a chef. But I'm sure that these same children, while playing, were preparing succulent lunches in their cardboard spaceships. Every profession is magical if you do it with passion. And the passion can be translated into a deep desire for knowledge and to stay updated and any topic related with what you want to do. Logically speaking, if I were to fully honor my aptitudes, my proper educational path would have been in the scientific fields, but another passion was revealed into me, that for classical culture and theater. So I decided to sign up for classical studies and at the high school, and to attend the theater lessons. Acting was between many experiences, maybe the most significant because it determined a strong personal growth inside of me. It made me understand the responsibility to play a role, being that of the leading actor or a secondary one. Why is this such a big responsibility? Because whoever comes to see the performance expected to get something, amusement, joy, a feeling. You can't make a mistake, so you have to deeply dive into your part to achieve the final goal in the best way. Thanks to this experience, I understood that the world and the sommelier life is nothing but a big stage where we present ourselves as interpreters of a rule that changes continuously. From high school students, we become university students. And in my case, the scene was completely different. When I enrolled at the Faculty of Pharmacy, I know I was about to start my real journey. As a future pharmacist, I'd better say the role of someone highly passionate about the science and the knowledge. Alchemy, literally intended as the fusion of knowledge of a different nature, was making itself feel more and more into me. In the Greek symbols used in chemistry, I found a profound synergy with what had been my previous path. I was really into it, and when the practical workshop began, magic started happening. A slogan used by the Unipd chemistry hub for some children's open day used to say, "It's no magic, it's a chemistry." Absolutely true, but to me, chemistry is magic. Do you know which was one of the best things in my undergraduate program? Having the possibility of doing a professional internship in a pharmacy, because after a month working, I had fully understood what I wanted to become. In the pharmacies I used to work in, the display of the product always changed as I passed by to tidy up. The reason? It was certainly not due to an excess of aesthetic sense, but to the fact that I loved to listen to people and to understand their latent needs, the real ones. And there was where the urgency of connecting the products at more specific suggestions emerged. But at the time, nothing of the was disciplined by supplementary courses or masters. So while still studying, I started as self-taught to deepen my knowledge in the marketing and management, and to attend the courses dedicated to companies of completely different sector in order to get the right approach to people in human or entrepreneurial terms. Getting in my pharmacy degree was a really starting point because the road was long and uphill, but climbing wasn't so hard. Not that short of pre-exam performance anxiety. It was like a challenging work done with the best of your friends, and which I call self-esteem. Self-esteem is fundamental if we want to reach a goal. So it's better to have abundance of it, especially at the beginning. But self-esteem is not to be confused with arrogance or with belief of being invincible. Quite the opposite. It needs to be translated into the capacity of never giving up. It's impossible not to find obstacles along our journey, but you have to see obstacles as opportunities to grow, because they give you important advice to overcome them in the future. For what concerns me, the most significant experience was to have the possibility to work in very different environments and to meet some sincere people and other not at all. At the beginning, I admit that I had great difficulty in having to accept and adapt to work situation that we are not all rewarding. So much so that I began to wonder if maybe I had chosen the wrong path. But I don't give up. I push through, keep learning and studying, improve myself and my knowledge, and eventually I started feeling rewarded in what I was doing. The first actual satisfaction work was came thanks to the interaction with the customers that would come into the pharmacy. They would recognize and appreciate my professionalism. However, a very important event in my life allowed me to take some time for myself and to organize my future. I'm talking about my pregnancy, a moment of really transition and change, or rather, personal enrichment. It's not always easy for a woman to balance work and family, especially if the workload is significant. I had to find the time to be with my daughter and to lay out the foundation to make the most out of all I had learned until that point. The first solution I thought of was to invest as much as possible in the work opportunity. I was experiencing to understand if there was the possibility of evolving in already established business. However, I was also realizing that I missed my daughter, and that when I went home at night, she was always a little bigger than when I left her in the morning. I realized that I was starting to develop the desire to transform myself. So when I saw the opportunity to do a master in management and marketing for pharmacies, I immediately signed up and I finally felt like I was on the right path. The next step was to start working with pharmacies and pharmacists I know, to start providing a consultancy and then propose myself beyond the provincial and regional borders, maybe even nationwide. What's my role? I define myself as a pioneer in business management and marketing specific to pharmacies and parapharmacies. I do data analysis. I deal with logistic, strategic business, visual merchandising, and staff training. I started to see that my world was changing in the immediate post-COVID period. Following the social limitation imposed by the lockdown, the need to communicate had become a real need for many colleagues who had reinvented themselves as digital creators and communicators. I love the terms very much because I believe that the web and the social media today, more than ever, represent a real and new opportunities. However, my inspiration was not to become a web communicator. Rather, it was to continue to build my personal path, enrich it with new knowledge to offer to those who ask me for specialized advice. So I began to hesitantly look into the world of social media to understand if I could find something good that could support me. How did I come out of this first experience? Scared. What was all this coming and going of colleagues dispensing advice, often questionable, other times very professional about that? It seemed that a parallel pharmacy had been born. I was a little uncomfortable at first because it wasn't my world, but I shyly approached it as an observer. And I observed a lot. For almost a year, I looked up and studied the profiles, read any sort of content, liked, removed the likes, granted friendships to strangers who seemed familiar to me because they were the conducives in plain sight until I realized that I couldn't get a spider from the hole. I still hadn't found what I was looking for. Possible collaborators to whom I can propose support in the context of my consultancy. Why couldn't I find them? I felt like the human value was missing. There was no possibility of direct discussion and in-depth analysis necessary to be able to embark on a journey together. Here, necessita virtu, the ancient Latins would have said. I decided to create a platform where highly specialized pharmacists could be brought together in a community. This is how my startup, pharmaconsulenze.com, was born. What is Pharmaconsulenze and what does it do? Pharmaconsulenze is a multifaceted website. Its main purpose is to provide a consultancy service with an absolutely high ethical profile to citizens who need assistance for specific condition and who wish to receive health advice regarding, for example, the choice of one dermocosmetics product over another, of a supplement suited to your needs, the right dosage of a product, and other information. We are not trying to replace the figure of the doctor in any way, but simply trying to expand the pharmacist room for men who, with pharmaconsulente.com, can now leave the pharmacy counter and also offer remote assistance. It is a service only for citizens? Absolutely not. Exactly 1 year after it was created, Pharmaconsulenze has undergone multiple transformations, greatly enhancing the services dedicated to the pharmacists themselves who wish to evolve to enhance their business or to train their staff to make the services they offer more efficient. And what about the collaborating pharmacists? They to become the main characters thanks to Pharmaconsulenze School, the first school at the national level created and conceived by highly specialized pharmacists who can also act as teachers. I'm deeply convinced that no one is more competent than someone who is a professional in a specific sector to provide training services, functionally for daily activities, both in store and via remote assistance. What does it mean to go from being an entrepreneur for yourself to an entrepreneur for others? Well, first of all, a great sense of responsibility, because if you offer a service, you must ensure that it is efficient. You must have every management aspect under control, from the daily updating of content to the relationship with the companies and the professionals that plays their trust in you and in your work. What drives me? As it has already been said, a great passion, but also the desire to continue looking to the future with a new perspectives and with a tireless desire to explore new worlds, to compare myself with the colleagues specialized disciplines different from mine and to discover new professional experiences with modern content. To date, Pharmaconsulenze has more than 15 members selected by me, and some of my most trusted collaborators to guarantee a safe as well as exclusive service. We have also recently entered the circuit of organizing events for training and informational purposes. The first was done to my great honor and satisfaction in collaboration with the District Science of Drug of Unipd. We talked about telemedicine and the advantages for the local pharmacist and for the customers, involving established professionals on the national scenes and leading companies in the sector. What are some of the difficulties that I have encountered? Surely, being a woman, a wife, and the mother of two is not so easily reconcilable with working without a set schedule. So, to overcome this, I literally carry my work in my pocket. I take advantage of waiting queues when I go to collect my mail or at the grocery store or my daughter's daily naps. It isn't that easy, but it's very satisfying, and I feel like my sense is enriched because of it. Another difficulty that I have learned to manage very well is the fake goodism of people who, as in all type of job, pass themselves of and knowledgeable, but who at the first opportunity try to exploit your skills to gain personal advantage and at the same time tend to discourage you directly and or indirectly. Well, guys, I hope you find many of these people in your path because they are the lifeblood that fuels your pride. These people can bring out the best in you. If you learn how to deal with them by channeling all your energy into the productivity of your projects, acting with transparency, honesty, and why not, even with kindness, always pays off. Believe me. But don't be naive. The greatest future of Pharmaconsulenze is that it is a continuously evolving platform that gives voice to a fundamental category that cannot lose its role as a point of reference of consumers. What does Pharmaconsulenze mean to me? Another starting point. A daily challenge that requires constant commitment and dedication. Is it the fruit of the alchemy of my passion? Thank you for listening and for allowing me to share my journey with you. I truly hope that you find your passion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? If you have questions, you can write it in the chat. Okay, if you don't have questions, we can close here. Thank you again, Elisa. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us today. Stay tuned for next webinar. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you all for your attention, and have a good evening.